Let me watch you break your back, sweetheart. Chief Petty Officer Grant Mercer stands at the edge of the Hell Ladder obstacle course, arms crossed, sweat still cooling on his shoulders from his latest attempt. 1 minute 31 seconds. 2 seconds slower than the record he set 11 years ago. 2 seconds that gnaw at him every single time he runs this course. Around him, 40 SEALs sprawl across the Coronado training ground, some nursing water bottles, others stripping gear after their own failed attempts. The California sun hammers down on asphalt that shimmers with heat. Dust hangs in the air from the last runner's finish. Nobody touches Mercer's record. Not in 11 years. Not even close. Riven Lockhart stands 20 feet behind the safety fence, clipboard pressed against her hip, eyes tracking the course layout. Navy-issue work shirt, sleeves rolled to her elbows, dark hair pulled into a regulation bun. She could be any of the dozens of support personnel who drift through training grounds checking equipment, logging safety protocols, making sure the real operators have what they need. Invisible. Forgettable. Mercer spots her watching. His grin spreads slow. "Hey, radar girl." He raises his voice so the team can hear. "This is for real operators. You here to check signal strength?" Laughter ripples through the group. Someone whistles. Another voice joins in. Maybe she's lost. Someone tell her the admin building is that way. Riven's expression doesn't change. She studies the course for another few seconds, then shifts her gaze to Mercer. When she speaks, her voice carries no challenge, no edge, just a question. "Would you mind if I tried?" The laughter dies for a heartbeat, then erupts twice as loud. A SEAL near the starting line slaps his knee. "She serious? Oh man, this is gonna be good. Someone get a camera. I need to see this." Mercer's grin widens. He uncrosses his arms, gestures toward the starting line like he's welcoming royalty. "Sure thing. I'll even hold your clipboard for you." He pauses, lets the moment stretch. "But when you can't make it past the rope climb, don't say I didn't warn you." More laughter. Phones come out. A few SEALs shift position to get better angles. This is about to become the highlight of someone's Instagram story. The radar tech who thought she could run Hell Ladder. Entertainment for the next 3 months. Riven sets her clipboard on a nearby equipment crate. The motion is precise, deliberate, no wasted movement. She adjusts her gloves, each finger seated perfectly, then rolls her shoulders once. The stretch looks casual, but there's something underneath it, something practiced. Near the fence, a man in faded fatigues watches her. Retired SEAL, 62 years old, still built like he could run the course himself if someone asked. He comes back to watch attempts sometimes, reliving glory days through the next generation. His eyes narrow as Riven moves to the starting line. "Watch her footwork," he mutters to the man beside him. "What?" "Just watch." Riven stands at the line, breathes in through her nose, 4 counts, holds, 4 counts, out through her mouth, 4 counts. The rhythm is so subtle most people wouldn't notice, but the retired SEAL sees it. He's seen it before, in men who learn to control their bodies under conditions most humans never face. The timekeeper raises his hand. "On your mark." Riven's stance shifts, weight balanced, knees soft, hands loose at her sides. "Get set." Mercer leans against the fence, arms crossed again, grin still plastered across his face. A few of his teammates whisper side bets. $20 she quits at the rope climb. "I'll take that. She won't even make it to the net." "Go!" Riven explodes off the line. Not runs, explodes. The first obstacle is an 8-meter ladder angled at 60 degrees, metal rungs slick from hours of use and coastal humidity. Most runners hit it at a jog, grab the rungs, haul themselves up. Mercer took 7 seconds. The current second-place holder took 9. Riven clears it in 4. Her hands don't grab. They flow. Each contact point is already identified before she reaches it. No hesitation, no recalculation. She moves like the ladder is an extension of her body, like she's done this 10,000 times in conditions far worse than a sunny California morning. The crowd noise shifts, still present but different. Less laughter, more confusion. "Wait, did you see? How did she?" Obstacle 2. A horizontal cargo net suspended 3 feet off the ground, 40 feet long. Crawl under it while it sags down on you, catches your gear, slows your momentum. Standard time is 15 seconds if you're fast, 20 if you're good. Riven transitions without breaking stride. Her body flattens, elbows driving, hips low. She's through in 8 seconds. A SEAL near the timer stares at the display. "That's not possible." Obstacle 3, shooting station. 6 pop-up targets at varying distances. You have to clear them all before moving forward. Weapon is preloaded, safety off, sitting on a rest. Standard procedure is grab, aim, shoot. Breath control matters here. Panic costs you time. Riven picks up the rifle. Her grip is wrong. Not wrong like amateur wrong like different school of training wrong. 3 points of contact instead of the standard 2. Thumb position shifted half an inch. The retired SEAL's eyes widen. That's CQB variant, he breathes. That's Siren protocol grip. 6 shots, 6 hits, dead center on every target. Total time from weapon pickup to weapon down, 9 seconds. The crowd isn't laughing anymore. Obstacle 4, net climb, 30 feet vertical, rope net that shifts under your weight, testing grip strength and nerve. Fall protection is there, but it's still 30 feet of climb with nothing but air underneath you. Riven hits the net like gravity forgot to apply. Hand over hand, feet finding purchase without looking down. She's not climbing, she's ascending. There's a difference. Climbing implies effort. This looks like inevitability. 22 seconds from bottom to top. Mercer's record on this section was 31. Someone in the crowd whispers a word that gets lost in the wind. Obstacle 5. The carry. A weighted dummy, 40 kilograms, meant to simulate pulling a wounded teammate from danger. You have to lift it, drape it across your shoulders, and move 50 meters to the drop point. This is where most attempts fall apart. Technique matters. But at the end of the day, you're carrying 90 pounds of dead weight after 4 obstacles that have already shredded your arms and lungs. Riven lifts the dummy in one smooth motion. Fireman's carry. Textbook perfect. She doesn't adjust her grip, doesn't shift the weight, just starts moving. Her pace doesn't slow. 50 meters. The dummy drops on the designated mat. Riven keeps moving. The retired SEAL grabs the fence, knuckles white. Who the hell is she? Obstacle 6, final shooting station, 200 meters. Single target. After everything your body just endured, after your hands are shaking and your heart is hammering and your vision is narrowed from exertion, you have to make a precision shot at a distance where breathing wrong will throw your aim off. Riven drops to prone position. Cheek to stock. Breathes. 4 counts in. 4 counts hold. 4 counts out. The trigger squeeze is so smooth it looks like the rifle fired itself. Downrange, the target snaps back. Center mass hit. The timer stops. 1 minute. 12 seconds. The digital board flashes. Red letters 3 feet high. New record. For 5 seconds, nobody moves. 40 SEALs, support staff, the timekeeper, the retired instructor, everyone frozen like someone hit pause on reality. Then the board flashes again, adding a line underneath. Previous record, 129. Mercer, G, 17 seconds. She beat the 11-year record by 17 seconds. The eruption isn't cheering, it's shock verbalized. Voices overlap, half-formed questions, exclamations that don't finish. Did you see? How did she? That's not real, that's not... Riven stands, brushes dust off her knees, walks back toward the starting line. Her breathing is elevated but controlled. No gasping, no bent-over hands-on-knees recovery. She picks up her clipboard from the equipment crate, checks something on the top page, then glances toward the crowd. Mercer's face has gone pale. Not pale like surprised, pale like someone just showed him his own death certificate. The retired SEAL pushes through the crowd, moving toward the timekeeper. Run that footage again. Sir? The footage. Run it again. I need to see something. The timekeeper pulls up the recording on a tablet, scrubs back to the shooting stations. The retired SEAL leans in close, watching Riven's grip on the rifle, the way her thumb sits, the angle of her elbow. Where did you learn that? He whispers to the screen. If you've ever been underestimated, you know this feeling. Hit that like button. Let's see where this goes. Mercer is moving now, cutting through the crowd toward Riven. His teammates part for him, still too stunned to do anything but stare at the board. 17 seconds. Nobody beats a record by 17 seconds. Nobody. Stop right there. Riven pauses, turns to face him, still holding her clipboard, still calm. Mercer closes the distance until he's 3 feet away. His voice drops low, but everyone near them can hear. What did you do? I ran the course. Nobody runs the course like that. He gestures toward the obstacles. Nobody new to this base, nobody fresh from admin rotation, nobody who isn't active operator does what you just did. Riven tilts her head slightly. The motion is small, but something about it makes Mercer take a half step back. You asked if I wanted to try, she says. I tried. Tried. Mercer's laugh is sharp, bitter. You didn't try. You executed. There's a difference. He points at the shooting station. That grip. That stance. Where did you learn that? Standard training. That's not standard training, that's specialist protocol. Around them, more people are gathering. Word is spreading through the base like wildfire. Someone broke Mercer's record. Someone nobody's ever heard of. Phones are still out, some recording, others already uploading. The Hell Ladder has been the pride of Coronado for over a decade. Mercer's name was carved into the legacy of this place. Was. A lieutenant commander pushes through the crowd, tablet in hand, frown creasing his forehead. What's going on here? Mercer whirls on him. Sir, something's wrong. This woman just ran an impossible time. I saw the board, Chief. Looked pretty possible to me. With respect, sir, no radar technician has these capabilities. This needs investigation. The lieutenant commander looks at Riven, then at Mercer, then back at the board still flashing its announcement. He's been on this base for 8 years. He's watched dozens of attempts at this record. He's seen SEALs at peak condition fail to break 1 minute 20. What's your name? He asks Riven. Lockhart. Riven Lockhart. And your position? Radar systems technician. Arrived on base 4 weeks ago. The lieutenant commander makes a note on his tablet. 4 weeks. Yes, sir. And you just beat our standing record by 17 seconds. Yes, sir. He studies her for a long moment. She doesn't fidget, doesn't elaborate, doesn't offer excuses or explanations. Just stands there, clipboard still tucked against her hip, meeting his gaze without challenge but without submission either. Equipment check, Mercer says. Sir, I'm requesting a full equipment check. Timer malfunction, sensor error, something. The equipment is certified and calibrated weekly, Chief. Then checker. Performance enhancers, stimulants, something. Now some of the crowd shifts uncomfortably. This is entering different territory. Accusing someone of cheating is serious. Accusing them of doping is a career ender if you're wrong. The lieutenant commander's frown deepens. That's a significant accusation. Sir, with respect, this result is significant. Mercer's voice is rising now, frustration bleeding through the military courtesy. Nobody, and I mean nobody, walks onto this base and does what she just did without something being wrong. Riven reaches for her water bottle, takes a slow drink. When she lowers it, there's a moment where her sleeve rides up slightly, just an inch, just enough for the retired SEAL to catch a glimpse of something on her forearm. A scar. Not clean, not surgical. The kind of scar that comes from shrapnel, from being too close to something that exploded. He opens his mouth to say something, then closes it. Looks at her face again, at the way she holds herself, at the absolute lack of surprise in her expression at Mercer's accusations. Miss Lockhart, the lieutenant commander says, I'm going to need you to come with me to the admin office. We'll review the footage, verify the equipment logs, and ensure everything is properly documented. Yes, sir. Chief Mercer, you're welcome to observe the review. Sir, I want more than observation. I want answers. And you'll get them through proper channels. The lieutenant commander's tone shifts, just enough to remind Mercer that ranks still matter. Stand down, Chief. Mercer's jaw works. For a moment, it looks like he might argue, might push harder, but training wins out over emotion. Barely. Yes, sir. The crowd begins to disperse, but slowly. People linger, still watching, still whispering. Some are already pulling up videos on their phones, reviewing the run frame by frame. Others are checking the base social channels, where the news is spreading faster than official communications ever could. Riven walks toward the admin building. The lieutenant commander falls into step beside her. Mercer watches them go, fists clenched, jaw tight. Around him, his teammates exchange glances. Nobody knows what to say. Their chief just got beaten, badly, by someone they've never seen run a course before. One of them claps Mercer on the shoulder. Hey man, 17 seconds is... Don't. Mercer shakes off the hand. Just don't. He turns away from the course, from the board still flashing its new record, and heads toward the team building. He needs to think. More than that, he needs to find out who Riven Lockhart really is. Because radar technicians don't move like that. They don't shoot like that. They don't run courses like they've been doing it their entire lives. The retired SEAL watches the whole scene, still gripping the fence. His mind is racing back through years of training, through protocols that aren't talked about anymore, through programs that were supposed to have been terminated. Siren protocol grip, he mutters again. Then louder, to no one in particular. I need to make a phone call. Sunset comes to Coronado with orange light that turns the ocean gold and paints long shadows across the base. Most personnel have finished duty shifts, heading to the mess or quarters or the gym. The Hell Ladder sits empty now, its obstacles silent witnesses to the day's disruption. In a small office in the personnel building, Grant Mercer sits in front of a computer screen. He's not supposed to be here. Technically, this area is restricted to admin staff and security clearance verification. But Mercer has been on this base for 16 years. He knows which doors have malfunctioning card readers. He knows which duty officers look the other way for a respected chief petty officer who just needs to check something quick. He logs into the personnel database using borrowed credentials, a favor called in from a friend in admin who owes him from a previous deployment. The screen loads slowly, security protocols checking and rechecking before granting access. Mercer types, Lockhart, Riven. The search runs. One result. He clicks it. The profile loads, but something's wrong. Most personnel files are dense with information. Birth date, recruitment location, training pipeline, previous assignments, commendations, disciplinary actions. A career's worth of data compressed into standardized forms and official photographs. Riven's file is almost empty. Name, Lockhart, Riven. Current assignment, Coronado NAS, Radar Systems Technician. Clearance level, confidential. And then, at the bottom, a single line in red text. Previous assignment. Classified. Siren protocol. Access forbidden. Below that, another line. Inquiries regarding this file must be directed to Special Operations Command. Mercer stares at the screen. His hands are shaking. Just slightly, but enough that when he reaches for the mouse, he has to steady his wrist against the desk. Siren protocol. He knows that name. Every SEAL who's been in the community long enough knows that name, even if it's only spoken in whispers, even if the official line is that it never existed. Siren Protocol, the experimental program, early 2000s. The Navy's attempt to integrate female operators into SEAL teams. 3 candidates, handpicked, put through a training pipeline that made buds look gentle. Classified operations, assignments nobody talked about. And then Raven Pit. The operation that went wrong. Ambush. The whole team walked into a kill zone. Official story. Training accident. Cover story for families. Vehicular incident during transport. Real story, the one that circulates in quiet conversations. Someone sold them out. Someone gave coordinates to hostiles. Someone wanted Siren Protocol to fail badly enough to get people killed. All 3 candidates declared killed in action. Program terminated. Files sealed. Discussion forbidden. Mercer sits back in his chair. The office is quiet except for the hum of the computer and the distant sound of footsteps in the hallway outside. If Riven Lockhart's file says Siren Protocol, that means she was one of them. One of the 3, which means she shouldn't exist. She should be dead. The program made sure everyone believed she was dead, but she's not dead. She's here. She's running obstacle courses and breaking records and doing things that only someone with that kind of training could do, which means she survived. Which means everything Mercer thought he knew about Raven Pit is wrong. His phone buzzes. Text message from a number he doesn't recognize. Stop digging. You don't want these answers. Mercer deletes the message, clears his browser history, logs out of the personnel system. He sits in the dark office for another few minutes, mind racing through implications, through timelines, through all the ways this could go very wrong for him. Then he stands, straightens his uniform, and walks out into the hallway. He has phone calls to make. Quiet phone calls. To people who remember Raven Pit. To people who might have questions about why someone from a terminated program is suddenly walking around Coronado like she has every right to be here. Morning comes with fog rolling in from the Pacific, thick enough to soften edges and muffle sounds. The base wakes slowly, reveille echoing across buildings and training grounds. Personnel emerge from barracks, heading to mess halls, preparing for the day's routines. Riven stands in the radar technician's workshop, running diagnostics on a console that doesn't need diagnosing. Her hands move through the routine checks, but her mind is elsewhere. She knows Mercer found her file. She knows because she left digital tripwires in the system, small alerts that ping when someone accesses certain records. His inquiry came through at 2200 hours last night. Sloppy. Predictable. She also knows what he'll do next. Men like Mercer don't let things go. They pick at threads until something unravels. It's what makes them good operators. It's also what makes them dangerous when they're trying to bury something. The workshop door opens. A young petty officer, fresh-faced, probably 6 months out of A school, pokes his head in. "Lockhart, Lieutenant Commander wants to see you. Admin building, Office 212. "Copy that." She saves her diagnostics, logs out of the system, grabs her cover. The walk to the admin building takes 4 minutes. Fog dampens sound, turns other personnel into gray shapes moving through gray air. Somewhere in the distance, a training cadence echoes, voices synchronized in rhythm. Office 212 is on the second floor, down a hallway lined with official photographs and commendation plaques. Riven knocks twice. Enter. Lieutenant Commander Hayes sits behind a desk stacked with folders and a laptop showing multiple windows of data. He's mid-40s, salt and pepper haircut, regulation high and tight, reading glasses perched on his nose. He looks up when Riven enters, gestures to the chair across from his desk. "Have a seat, Miss Lockhart." She sits, hands folded in lap, posture straight but not rigid, the exact bearing of someone who knows how to present themselves to authority without being obvious about it. Hayes removes his glasses, sets them on the desk, studies her for a moment. "I've spent the last 18 hours reviewing footage of your run. I've also reviewed equipment logs, calibration records, and interviewed the timekeeper. Everything checks out. Your record stands." "Thank you, sir." "Don't thank me. You earned it." He pauses. "What I can't figure out is how a radar technician develops that skill set. Care to enlighten me?" "I stay in shape, sir. Regular training routine." "Regular training routine." Hayes leans back in his chair. "Miss Lockhart, I've been in the Navy for 23 years. I've seen what regular training looks like. What you did yesterday goes beyond regular." Riven doesn't respond, just maintains eye contact, waiting. Hayes picks up a folder from his desk, opens it. "Your personnel file is remarkably sparse. Most technical ratings have extensive training histories, certification records, previous duty stations. Yours has almost none of that. What it does have is a classification marker I've only seen twice in my career." He turns the folder so she can see the red line at the bottom. "Siren Protocol. Access forbidden." "Are you going to tell me what that means?" he asks. "I'm not authorized to discuss it, sir." "That's what I thought you'd say." Hayes closes the folder. "Here's my problem. Chief Mercer is pushing for a formal investigation. He's claiming irregularities, requesting drug testing, equipment audits, the full workup. Normally I'd dismiss that as sour grapes from someone who lost a record. But in this case, given the unusual circumstances, I have to take his concerns seriously." "I understand, sir. So here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow morning, 0800, you're going to run the course again, in front of a review board. Full medical clearance beforehand, equipment certified by independent observers. We document everything, settle this once and for all." Riven nods. "Yes, sir." "And Miss Lockhart?" Hayes replaces his glasses, fixes her with a look that's part warning, part curiosity. "Whatever program you came from, whatever you're not authorized to discuss, it doesn't mean anything on my base. Here, we operate by the book. Clear? Crystal, sir?" "Dismissed." Riven stands, offers a crisp nod, and leaves the office. The hallway is empty now. The morning rush settled into the rhythm of work shifts and duty assignments. She takes the stairs down, exits into fog that's starting to burn off under the climbing sun. Her phone vibrates. Text message. Tomorrow's run. He's planning something. Watch your 6. No signature, no number ID. But Riven knows who sent it. There are people in the community who remember Siren Protocol. People who've been watching, waiting, making sure the truth stays buried. Or in her case, making sure she stays alive long enough to do what she came here to do. She deletes the message, continues walking toward the waterfront. The fog is clearing faster now, revealing the ocean beyond the base perimeter. Somewhere out there, 11 years ago, her team died because someone decided they were a liability. Someone decided the program was too risky, too controversial, too much of a threat to the traditional order. Someone gave away their coordinates. Someone walked free while 3 women were declared dead. Riven has spent 11 years tracking that someone, following breadcrumbs through classified channels and sealed records, piecing together a picture of betrayal that reaches higher than anyone wants to admit. And now she's close. Close enough that the man responsible has noticed. Close enough that he's getting nervous. Grant Mercer, Chief Petty Officer, decorated SEAL, record holder, respected by his teams, trusted by his commanders, and the man who sold Siren Protocol to save his own skin. The next morning arrives with wind instead of fog, sharp gusts that carry salt spray from the ocean and make flags snap on their poles. 0700. The Hell Ladder course is already surrounded by personnel, more than yesterday. Word has spread. The radar tech who broke the record is running again, this time under official review. This is entertainment. This is spectacle. Riven arrives at 0745. She's already been through medical clearance. Blood draw, urinalysis, the full workup. Clean, of course. She doesn't need enhancements. Her body was forged in conditions that would break most people. Chemical shortcuts would be an insult to the training that built her. A review board table sits near the starting line. 3 officers, 1 senior enlisted, all with tablets and official expressions. Lieutenant Commander Hayes is there, along with 2 commanders Riven doesn't recognize. The senior enlisted is a Master Chief, probably 40 years in, face carved from experience and salt air. Mercer stands to one side, arms crossed, watching Riven approach. His team surrounds him. Support. Solidarity. They don't know what's really happening here. They just know their chief is under pressure, and SEALs protect their own. The retired instructor from yesterday is also present, standing slightly apart from the crowd. He catches Riven's eye, gives the smallest nod. Recognition, or warning, maybe both. Hayes addresses the crowd through a handheld speaker. This is an official review run. Miss Lockhart will attempt the Hell Ladder course under observed conditions. Equipment has been certified by independent inspection. Medical clearance is confirmed. Timing will be conducted by 3 separate devices for verification. Any questions? Silence. Just wind and the distant sound of ocean waves. Miss Lockhart, take your position. Riven moves to the starting line. She's wearing the same gear as yesterday. Navy work shirt, tactical pants, boots with aggressive tread, hair pulled back, no jewelry, no excess. Just the minimum needed to run the course. She stretches briefly. Shoulders, hips, ankles. The routine looks casual but hits every major muscle group. Then she settles into position. Weight forward, hands loose, breathing controlled, 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out. The timekeeper raises his hand. On your mark? What do you think just happened? Drop your theory below and stay locked in. Get set. Mercer leans toward one of his teammates, whispers something. The teammate nods, pulls out his phone, starts recording. Go. Riven launches. The 8-meter ladder disappears beneath her. 4 seconds. Same as yesterday. The cargo net is a blur of motion. 8 seconds. The shooting station. 6 targets, 6 hits, 9 seconds. Every movement is identical to her first run. Not similar. Identical. Like she's running a program that can't deviate, can't improvise, can only execute exactly as designed. The crowd watches in silence now. No cheering, no commentary, just the sound of Riven moving through obstacles, the wind, the ocean. Net climb, 22 seconds. The dummy carry, 50 meters, no visible strain. Final shooting station, 200 meters, prone position, breath control, trigger squeeze, target snaps back, center mass, timer stops. 1 minute. 11 seconds. The board flashes. 1 second faster than yesterday. Hayes stares at the display. The other board members check their tablets, verify the backup timers. All 3 match. No discrepancy, no error. The Master Chief whistles low. Well, I'll be damned. Mercer pushes through the crowd, moving toward the review board. That's not possible. There's no way she ran it faster the second time. Nobody does that. Nobody gets faster on a review run. Hayes looks up from his tablet. The timers don't lie, Chief. Then the timers are wrong. Or she found a way to manipulate them or something. Mercer's voice is rising, control slipping. Sir, I'm telling you, something is wrong here. What I see, Chief, is a legitimate run under fully documented conditions. Medical clearance confirmed, equipment certified, 3 independent timing devices all showing the same result. Hayes closes his tablet. The record stands, matter closed. Sir, with respect, matter closed. Hayes's tone sharpens. Unless you have evidence of actual wrongdoing as opposed to disbelief, this review is concluded. Mercer stands there, jaw working, fists clenched at his sides. Around him, his teammates shift uncomfortably. This isn't going the way anyone expected. Their chief is unraveling, publicly. Riven walks past him toward the equipment area, retrieving her clipboard. As she passes, Mercer's hand shoots out, grabs her shoulder, hard. "Who are you, really?" The entire crowd goes still. Riven stops, doesn't pull away, doesn't react. Just stands there with Mercer's hand on her shoulder, his grip tight enough to leave marks. "Let go of me, Chief." Her voice is quiet. No threat, no anger, just a statement of fact. "Not until you tell me who you really are. Not until you explain how a radar tech moves like a spec ops operator." Mercer's other hand comes up, grips her other shoulder. "Where did you train? What program? Who authorized your assignment to this base?" The retired instructor moves forward, but Hayes raises a hand, stops him. "Chief Mercer, you will release Miss Lockhart immediately." Hayes' voice cuts through the wind. "That is a direct order." Mercer doesn't let go. His eyes are locked on Riven's face, searching for something. Fear, maybe. Reaction. Proof that she's human and not some kind of machine designed to humiliate him. What he sees instead is absolute calm. "Chief," Riven says quietly, "you're making a mistake. The only mistake here is you, walking onto this base like you have any right to be here, breaking records like you earned them." His grip tightens. "You're a fake. A plant. Someone sent you here to make us look bad, and I'm going to prove it. Last chance, Chief. Let go." "Or what? You going to report me? File a complaint?" Mercer laughs, but there's no humor in it. "I've been here 16 years. I've earned respect. You're nobody." Riven's gaze shifts past him, locks onto Hayes. "Sir, I'm formally requesting that Chief Mercer remove his hands from my person." "Chief, you heard her. Stand down. Now." For another 3 seconds, Mercer doesn't move. His hands remain locked on Riven's shoulders, his face inches from hers. Then, slowly, he releases his grip, steps back. But his eyes never leave her face. "This isn't over," he says. "No," Riven agrees. "It's not." She turns and walks away. The crowd parts for her. Nobody speaks. Nobody even seems to breathe. They've just watched something happen that nobody quite understands, but everyone knows was significant. Mercer stands alone at the starting line, watching her go. His hands are shaking now, not from exertion, from something deeper. Fear, maybe, or recognition that he's stepped into something larger than a disputed record. Hayes approaches him, voice low enough that only Mercer can hear. "My office. Now." "Sir, that wasn't a request, Chief." The crowd begins to disperse. Some head toward duty stations, others linger, pulling up phone videos, replaying the run, the confrontation, trying to make sense of what they just witnessed. The retired instructor remains at the fence, eyes still tracking Riven as she disappears into the admin building. He pulls out his phone, dials a number from memory. 3 rings, then a voice answers. Rough, older, authority aged by decades of classified decisions. "This is Barrett." "Sir, it's Reeves, retired SEAL currently observing at Coronado." "What do you need, Reeves?" "Sir, I need to report a situation. There's a woman on base. Personnel file says radar technician, but I've seen her move, I've seen her shoot." He pauses. "She's using Siren Protocol protocols." Long silence on the other end of the line. "Siren Protocol was terminated," Barrett finally says. "Yes, sir. That's what the official record says." "Are you certain about what you saw?" "Sir, I trained with that program in its early days. I know the signatures, the grip variations, the breathing techniques, the movement efficiency. This woman has been through that pipeline." Another silence. Longer this time. "Her name? Lockhart. Riven Lockhart." The silence stretches so long Reeves almost thinks the connection dropped. "Sir, send me everything you have. Photos, videos, duty station, whatever you can compile. And Reeves?" "Yes, sir." "Keep this quiet. If you're right about what you saw, then we have a much bigger problem than a broken record." The call ends. Reeves stands at the fence, watching the hell ladder course. The wind has picked up, strong enough now to rattle the obstacles, make the nets dance. Somewhere in the admin building, conversations are happening that will determine what comes next. Investigations, questions, pressure applied to find answers that are supposed to stay buried. And at the center of it all, a woman who ran a course faster than anyone thought possible. A woman who shouldn't exist. A woman who's been dead for 11 years. Inside the admin building, Riven sits in a small waiting room outside Lieutenant Commander Hayes' office. She can hear raised voices through the door. Mercer's mostly, arguing, defending, trying to justify his actions. Her phone vibrates. Another text. Files are being pulled. Multiple inquiries coming down from SOCOM. They know you're here now. Timeline just accelerated. You have 48 hours, maybe less. Riven deletes the message. 48 hours. Not ideal, but workable. She's been patient for 11 years. 48 more hours won't kill her. The office door opens. Mercer emerges, face flushed, uniform slightly disheveled. He sees Riven sitting there, stops. "This is your fault," he says. "Whatever happens now, it's on you." "No, Chief. What happens now has been coming for 11 years. I'm just the catalyst." He stares at her, trying to decode the words, then turns and walks away. His footsteps echo down the hallway, fading into distance. Hayes appears in the doorway. "Miss Lockhart, a word." She enters his office. He closes the door, gestures to the chair. She sits. Hayes doesn't sit. He stands by the window, looking out at the base, hands clasped behind his back. "I just suspended Chief Mercer pending investigation into his conduct. Physical contact without consent, insubordination, misuse of personnel database access." He turns to face her. "That's what I'm putting in the official report. What I'm not putting in the report is my suspicion that there's a lot more happening here than a disputed record." Riven waits. "I received a call 10 minutes ago from someone whose name I can't disclose. Someone high enough up the chain that when they suggest I should probably step back and let other entities handle your situation, I listen." Hayes moves to his desk, sits down. "So here's what's going to happen. You're going to continue your duties as assigned. You're going to avoid Chief Mercer and his team. And you're going to wait for instructions from people who outrank me by several pay grades. Understood?" "Yes, sir." "And Miss Lockhart?" Hayes leans forward. "Whatever you came here to do, I hope it's worth it. Because from where I'm sitting, you just kicked over a hornet's nest that a lot of powerful people wanted to stay undisturbed." "It's worth it, sir. I hope you're right." Riven stands, offers a nod, and leaves the office. The hallway is empty now. Most personnel are at duty stations, working through the day's assignments. She exits the building, steps into wind that's turned cold despite the sunshine. 48 hours. She walks toward the waterfront, toward the sound of waves breaking against the seawall. Overhead, a helicopter crosses the sky, heading out toward open ocean. Training exercise, probably. Or deployment, the constant rhythm of military readiness. Riven pulls out her phone, opens an encrypted app, types a brief message. "Timeline accelerated, initiating phase 2. The response comes within seconds. Confirmed. Assets moving into position, retrieval standing by." She pockets the phone, continues walking. The ocean stretches to the horizon, gray-blue and infinite. Somewhere out there, 11 years ago, her team died because someone decided they were expendable. Someone decided the mission mattered less than protecting a reputation. That someone is on this base right now, watching, waiting, trying to figure out how much Riven knows and how much damage she can do. Soon, he'll find out. Soon, everyone will find out. But first, Mercer needs to make one more mistake. One more move that confirms what Riven already knows. One more piece of evidence that will tie everything together in a way that can't be denied or explained away. She just has to wait. Watch. Let him think he's still in control. And when he finally overplays his hand, she'll be ready. Justice isn't loud. It's patient. And it's been waiting 11 years for this moment. That night, Mercer can't sleep. He lies in his quarters, staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over. The way Riven moved through those obstacles, the precision, the absolute lack of hesitation. Radar technicians don't move like that. People with 4 weeks on base don't run courses like they designed them. At 2300 hours, he gives up on sleep. Pulls on his uniform, checks the hallway. Empty. Most of the base is either asleep or pulling duty shifts in other buildings. He moves through corridors with the practiced silence of someone who spent 20 years learning how to be invisible when necessary. The personnel office is on the second floor of the admin building. He knows the duty schedule. Knows that between 2300 and 0100 there's a shift change, a 15-minute window where nobody's watching the cameras as closely as they should. He slips inside using borrowed credentials, a favor from an admin clerk who needed help with a disciplinary matter last year. Mercer's good at collecting debts, good at knowing when to cash them in. The computer logs him in with someone else's credentials. He navigates to personnel records, types Lockhart, Riven into the search field. The file loads. Most personnel files tell a story. Birth certificates, recruitment papers, training records, photos showing the progression from fresh recruit to seasoned professional, deployments, commendations, the full arc of a military career compressed into digital forms. Riven's file is a ghost. Name, current assignment, clearance level, and then that red line at the bottom, stark against the white background. Previous assignment, classified, siren protocol, access forbidden. Below it, another warning. Inquiries regarding this file must be directed to Special Operations Command. Mercer's hand hovers over the mouse. His mouth has gone dry. Siren protocol. He hasn't heard that name spoken aloud in years. Nobody speaks it aloud. It's one of those things the community knows about but doesn't discuss. Like classified operations that went wrong. Like programs that were supposed to revolutionize warfare but ended in body bags instead. He remembers the whispers. Early 2000s. The Navy wanted to prove women could handle SEAL training. Selected 3 candidates, put them through hell that would have broken most men, gave them missions nobody talks about. And then Raven Pit happened. The operation with bad intel, the ambush that killed the entire team, the official story about a training accident that nobody believed but everyone accepted because the alternative was asking questions nobody wanted answered. 3 women declared KIA. Program terminated. Files sealed so tight that even mentioning the program name could get you called into an office for a very uncomfortable conversation. But if Riven's file says Siren Protocol, that means she was one of them, one of the 3, which means she should be dead. Mercer closes the file, clears the browser history, logs out, his hands are shaking. He sits in the dark office listening to his own heartbeat, trying to process what this means. If she survived, if she's been alive all these years, then everything about Raven Pit is a lie. The KIA declarations, the sealed files, the official story, all of it constructed to hide something. His phone buzzes, text from an unknown number. You're looking in the wrong places. Stop now while you still can. Mercer deletes the message. Whoever sent it clearly has access to monitoring systems. Someone knows he accessed that file. Someone is watching. Good, let them watch. Because if Riven Lockhart is walking around his base pretending to be a radar tech while actually being something else entirely, then other people need to know. His team needs to know. Command needs to know. He stands, straightens his uniform, and leaves the office. The walk back to his quarters takes 10 minutes. He doesn't go to bed. Instead, he pulls out his laptop, opens an encrypted chat program, and starts typing messages to people he served with. People who remember the Raven Pit rumors. People who might have information about what really happened. By 0300 hours, he has responses. Not many. Most people don't want to touch this subject, but a few remember. A few have heard stories, and one person sends him a link to a cached personnel photo from 15 years ago. 3 women in training gear, faces hard, eyes forward. The caption reads, Siren Protocol Candidates. The woman on the left is younger, but there's no mistaking her. Riven Lockhart, alive, real, staring into a camera like she could see through it into the future. Mercer saves the image, closes his laptop, and finally allows himself to acknowledge the cold knot forming in his stomach. Fear. Real fear. Because if Riven survived Raven Pit, and if she's here now, that means she came back for a reason. And reasons that require hiding your identity for 11 years are rarely benign. Morning breaks with clear skies and wind that carries the smell of jet fuel from the flight line. The base moves through its routine. Physical training, breakfast, duty assignments, the rhythm of military life continuing regardless of individual dramas. Mercer assembles his team in the common area of their building. 8 SEALs, men he's trained with, deployed with, trusted with his life. They gather around a table covered with coffee cups and protein bars, waiting for him to speak. We have a problem, Mercer begins. He pulls up the cached photo on his laptop, turns the screen so they can see. This was taken 15 years ago, classified training program. All 3 candidates were declared dead 11 years ago after an operation went bad. He clicks to a second image. Recent photo pulled from base security footage. Riven walking across the training ground. This is the radar tech who broke my record 2 days ago. The team leans in, comparing the images. One of them, a petty officer named Fisher, whistles low. Same person. Same person, Mercer confirms. Which means either the Navy faked her death, or she survived something she wasn't supposed to survive. Either way, she's here under false pretenses. Radar tech my foot. She's a trained operator pretending to be support staff. Why? Another team member, Rodriguez, asks the obvious question. Why come back after 11 years as someone else? That's what we need to find out, and we need to do it before whatever she's planning comes to fruition. Mercer closes the laptop. I want eyes on her, 24/7. Where she goes, who she talks to, what she accesses. Document everything. No direct contact. Just observe and report. Fisher frowns. Chief, this sounds like it's above our pay grade. Shouldn't we loop in command? Command is already asking questions, but they're asking the wrong questions. They're focused on whether her record time was legitimate. They're missing the bigger picture. Mercer stands. We take care of our own problems. We figure out what she's doing here, we document it, and then we present everything to command as a complete package. Clear? Nods around the table. Some more enthusiastic than others, but they're a team. When the chief says jump, they jump. Dismissed. Start surveillance at 0900. The team disperses. Mercer remains at the table, staring at the two photos on his screen. Young Riven and current Riven. Same eyes, same expression. Determination that looks like it could cut steel. What are you really doing here, he wonders. What's worth maintaining a cover for 11 years? His phone rings. Lieutenant Commander Hayes. Chief Mercer, my office. Now. Sir, Now, Chief. The line goes dead. Mercer grabs his cover and heads toward the admin building. Whatever this is about, it's not good. Hayes doesn't summon people to his office for casual chats. He does it for official business, the kind that goes in permanent records. Hayes's office feels smaller than it did yesterday. Maybe it's the two additional people standing there. A woman in an NCIS windbreaker, credentials clipped to her belt, and a man in civilian clothes who has federal agent written all over him, despite the lack of visible ID. Chief Mercer, have a seat. Hayes doesn't look happy. This is Special Agent Vance from NCIS and Agent Corrigan from an agency I'm not authorized to name. They have questions about your activities last night. Mercer sits. Sir, I don't understand. Agent Vance pulls out a tablet, turns it to face him. Security footage. Mercer entering the personnel office at 23:15. Mercer at a computer terminal. Mercer leaving at 23:42. You accessed a classified personnel file without authorization, Vance says, using borrowed credentials. That's a federal offense, Chief. I was conducting research relevant to my duties. Your duties don't include breaking into restricted databases. Agent Corrigan speaks for the first time. His voice is quiet, which somehow makes it more intimidating. Your duties especially don't include accessing files marked with Special Operations Command restrictions. The person in that file is on my base. I have a right to know who I'm serving alongside. You have the right to know what the Navy tells you, nothing more. Corrigan moves closer. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop investigating Miss Lockhart. You're going to instruct your team to do the same. You're going to continue your regular duties and pretend the last 72 hours never happened. Do you understand? Mercer looks at Hayes. Sir, with respect, this woman broke onto our base under false identity. She's trained at a level that indicates special operations background. My team deserves to know. Your team deserves to follow orders, Hayes interrupts, which is what you're going to do. Agent Vance, is the chief facing charges? That depends on his cooperation moving forward. Vance closes her tablet. If he ceases all unauthorized investigation and maintains operational security regarding classified matters, NCIS is willing to treat this as an administrative issue rather than criminal. You hear that, Chief? You're getting a second chance. I suggest you take it. Mercer stands. His jaw is tight enough to crack teeth. Yes, sir. Dismissed. He walks out of the office, down the hallway, out of the building into morning sun that feels too bright. His team is waiting near their building, probably monitoring radio channels, wondering what's happening to their chief. But before he reaches them, his phone buzzes again. Another unknown number. Another text. You should have listened. Now it's too late. Mercer stares at the message. Too late for what? What's about to happen? He looks up, scanning the base. Normal activity everywhere. Personnel moving between buildings, vehicles on their routes. Nothing unusual, nothing threatening. But somewhere in this controlled environment, Riven Lockhart is moving pieces on a board he can't see, playing a game he doesn't understand, and somehow, he's already lost. By noon, the temperature has climbed into the mid-70s. The base DFAC is crowded with personnel on lunch breaks. Conversations overlap, trays clatter, the constant noise of communal dining. Riven sits alone at a corner table, eating methodically. Salad, grilled chicken, water. The same meal she's had every day for 4 weeks. Routine, unremarkable. Exactly what a support technician would eat while reading technical manuals on a tablet. Except the manual isn't technical. It's a timeline. Dates and events compiled over 11 years. Movements tracked. Communications monitored. Pattern of behavior analyzed until a picture emerged. A picture of betrayal that started long before Raven Pit. Mercer enters the DFAC with his team. 8 men moving as a unit, drawing attention without trying. SEALs have that quality. Presence that announces their status without words. They get food, sit 3 tables away, not close enough to be obvious, but positioned so they have sight lines on Riven, surveillance, just like Mercer ordered. Riven doesn't acknowledge them. She continues eating, continues reading, gives no indication she's aware of 8 trained operators watching her every move. But she is aware, hyper-aware, counting breaths, measuring distances, noting exits and obstacles and potential weapons. The constant calculation of someone who spent years in environments where a moment's inattention could mean death. Her phone vibrates. Text message. Mercer pulling surveillance. 4 hours until Phase 2 activation. Confirm readiness. She types a one-word response. Ready. 48 hours has become 4. Whatever command structure is monitoring this situation has decided to accelerate. Maybe they're worried about exposure. Maybe they've seen Mercer's activities and decided intervention is necessary. Either way, the timeline is compressed, which means tonight, everything comes out. Riven finishes her meal, clears her tray, and walks out of the DFS into afternoon heat. Behind her, she hears chairs scraping. Mercer's team mobilizing to follow. They're not subtle, professional, but not subtle. There's a difference. She walks toward the waterfront. Long route. Open spaces, plenty of room for people to follow while maintaining distance. She wants them following, wants them invested, because when the reveal comes, it needs witnesses, lots of witnesses. The waterfront walk stretches along the base perimeter, concrete path with ocean on one side and buildings on the other. Riven maintains a steady pace, not hurrying, not dawdling, just walking like someone with time to kill before the next duty shift. Behind her, separated by 100 yards, Mercer's team maintains surveillance. 2 men visible, probably 6 more positioned at intervals. Standard box formation, professional. Exactly what she'd expect from trained operators. Her phone rings, not text this time, actual call, number she recognizes. Lockhart, it's Barrett. The voice is old, gravelly, authority worn smooth by decades of command decisions. 4 hours, training ground Alpha. Full disclosure scenario. Are you prepared for what happens after? I've been prepared for 11 years, sir. This will end careers, possibly including yours. Justice doesn't care about careers, sir. No, I suppose it doesn't. Pause. The extraction team is standing by. After the disclosure, you'll have approximately 30 minutes before the situation becomes uncontrollable. Use them wisely. Understood, sir. And Lockhart, what you're about to do, there's no coming back from it. You understand that? Yes, sir. I understood that 11 years ago when I decided to survive. The call ends. Riven continues walking. The ocean spreads before her. Endless blue meeting endless sky. Somewhere out there, past the horizon, past the shipping lanes and patrol zones, lies the area where Raven Pit happened, where her team died, where she should have died, where someone decided 3 women were acceptable losses in exchange for protecting a secret. That someone is on this base, watching, waiting, probably coordinating with the same people who just called off NCIS, probably thinking he's still in control. In 4 hours, he'll learn otherwise. 1,800 hours, training ground Alpha. The Hell Ladder course sits empty, obstacles casting long shadows in the declining sun. Personnel are gathering. Word has spread through unofficial channels that something significant is happening. Some kind of demonstration. Some kind of announcement. Mercer arrives with his team. They've spent the afternoon monitoring Riven's movements, documenting her routine, finding nothing unusual. She went to work, ate lunch, walked, returned to work. Standard day for support personnel. But now she's here, standing near the starting line, and there's something different about her posture. Something final, like a decision has been made and there's no turning back. Lieutenant Commander Hayes arrives. Behind him, several other officers, 2 commanders, a captain. More brass than usually attends base functions. This isn't routine. This is official. And behind them, stepping out of an unmarked sedan, Agent Vance and Agent Corrigan. The crowd swells. 40 becomes 80 becomes 100. SEALs, support staff, instructors, even some personnel from other services who happened to be on base and heard something interesting was happening. Hayes moves to the front of the crowd, raises his voice. Personnel of Naval Amphibious Base Coronado. We are here today to address questions that have emerged regarding recent events on this base. Specifically, questions about the identity and background of one of our personnel. He gestures toward Riven. Miss Riven Lockhart has been serving as a radar systems technician for 4 weeks. During that time, she has demonstrated capabilities that exceed standard expectations for her rating. This has generated concern and speculation. Today, we will address those concerns directly. Mercer steps forward. Sir, with respect, if this is about the record... This is about much more than a record, Chief. Please remain silent unless directly addressed. Hayes pulls out a tablet, references something on the screen. Miss Lockhart, for the record, please state your full name and current assignment. Riven's voice carries across the training ground. Clear. Steady. Riven Lockhart. Radar Systems Technician, Coronado Naval Amphibious Base. And is that your only assignment? No, sir. The crowd shifts. Murmurs ripple through the assembly. Please elaborate. I am also the sole surviving member of a classified Naval Special Warfare program designated Siren Protocol. I hold the rank of Senior Chief Petty Officer, though that rank has been inactive for 11 years following the program's termination. The murmurs become exclamations. SEALs exchange glances. Support staff pull out phones. This is no longer routine. This is historic. Mercer's face drains of color. That's impossible. Siren Protocol operators were declared KIA, all of them. 2 were KIA, Chief. I survived. Riven's gaze locks on him. I survived because I wasn't at the designated coordinates when the ambush occurred. I was 50 meters south, providing overwatch. I watched my team die, and I've spent 11 years finding out why. Hayes holds up a hand. Miss Lockhart, you're alleging that the Raven Pit incident was not an accident. I'm alleging it was deliberate betrayal, sir. Someone provided our coordinates to hostile forces. Someone ensured we walked into a kill zone. Someone wanted Siren Protocol to fail badly enough to murder 2 sailors to make it happen. The crowd has gone completely silent now. This isn't speculation anymore. This is accusation. This is someone standing in front of brass and federal agents and claiming murder. Mercer laughs. It sounds brittle. This is insane. She's been in deep cover too long. She's paranoid. Sir, with respect, this woman needs psychiatric evaluation, not a platform to spread conspiracy theories. Chief Mercer, Agent Corrigan steps forward. Where were you on November 7th, 11 years ago? What? Simple question. November 7th, 11 years ago. Where were you? I don't remember. That's 11 years ago. I'd have to check records. We already checked. You were on leave. Personal time, 7 days. Location listed as San Diego, visiting family. Corrigan pulls out his own tablet. Except your family doesn't live in San Diego, never has, and your credit card records show charges in Tijuana, not San Diego. Specifically, charges at hotels known for hosting individuals who prefer not to be officially present in Mexico. Mercer's hands clench. Are you accusing me of something? I'm establishing timeline. November 7th was 3 days before Raven Pit. 3 days before a classified operation received compromised coordinates. That doesn't prove anything. No, Riven says quietly. It doesn't, but this does. She pulls a small device from her pocket. Audio recorder. Standard equipment. Nothing fancy. She presses play. A voice emerges. Mercer's voice. Younger, but unmistakably him. The coordinates are confirmed. 3 operators. Female. Siren Protocol classification. Coordinates transmitted as requested. Payment as discussed. Another voice responds, accented, foreign. The ambush is prepared. Your government's experiment will fail, and you will be compensated appropriately. Make it clean. No survivors. Understood. The recording ends. The silence that follows is absolute. 100 people frozen in place, processing what they just heard. Processing the fact that one of their own, a decorated SEAL, a record holder, a man they trusted, just admitted to murder through his own recorded voice. If this gave you chills, share this story. Justice needs to be seen. Mercer stumbles backward. That's fake. Doctored. Anyone can fabricate audio now. Forensic analysis confirms authenticity, Agent Vance says. She's already moving, hand near her weapon. Voice pattern matched to your classified voice samples. Timeline matched to your travel records. Payment records matched to offshore accounts we've been monitoring for 3 years. This is setup. She set me up, Mercer points at Riven. She came here to frame me. I came here to finish what you started, Chief. Riven's voice is still calm, but there's something underneath now. Years of contained rage. You killed my team. You sold us to protect illegal arms transactions you were running through Mexican channels. Siren Protocol got too close to your operation, so you eliminated the threat. Lies! The recording is from 4 nights ago. I transmitted false intelligence through channels I knew you monitored. Intelligence suggesting Siren Protocol records were being unsealed. You panicked. You called your buyer to verify the old coordinates were still secure. And I recorded every word. Agent Vance reaches Mercer. Chief Petty Officer Grant Mercer, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, providing material support to enemy forces, and about a dozen other charges we'll detail at your arraignment. You have the right to... Mercer moves. Fast. Seal fast. His hand darts toward Vance's weapon. But Riven is faster. 3 strides, wrist intercept, lock applied. Mercer gasps, tries to counter, but she's already 3 moves ahead. His knees hit concrete. Hard. Don't, she says quietly. You've already lost. Don't make it worse. Agent Corrigan moves in with handcuffs. Within seconds, Mercer's wrists are secured. 2 NCIS agents take custody. As they lead him away, he looks back at Riven. You destroyed my life. No, Chief. You destroyed mine. I just made sure everyone knew about it. The crowd parts as NCIS escorts Mercer toward a waiting vehicle. His team watches in stunned silence. Their chief, their mentor, the man they trusted absolutely, is a murderer. Hayes approaches Riven. Senior Chief Lockhart, I believe that's your proper rank? Yes, sir. Then welcome back to active status. He extends his hand. She shakes it. There will be debriefings, extensive debriefings. You understand that? Yes, sir. I expected nothing less. And the program, Siren Protocol, will likely remain classified, sir, but at least now people know it existed, and that 2 good sailors died serving their country. Hayes nods, steps back. The crowd disperses, conversations erupting everywhere. This story will spread through the entire naval community within hours. The retired instructor, Reeves, approaches Riven. Salutes. She returns it. I trained with your program in its early days, he says. I remember your instructors. Good people. I'm sorry for what happened to your team. Thank you, sir. That grip I saw, the CQB variant. I knew I recognized it. You've kept the protocols alive. Someone had to, sir. Otherwise, they died for nothing. He salutes again, walks away. The sun is setting now, orange light painting everything gold. Then, from the north, the sound of rotor blades. An MH-47 Chinook, paint scheme black, no visible markings, descends toward the training ground. The rear ramp lowers. A figure emerges. Older man, civilian clothes, military bearing. He walks toward Riven, stops 3 feet away. Senior Chief Lockhart, on behalf of Special Operations Command, I'm authorized to offer you immediate reinstatement. Full rank, full benefits. Your skills and experience are needed. Riven looks at the Chinook, at the promise of returning to a life she thought ended 11 years ago. What's the mission? Can't discuss it here, but I can tell you this. He hands her a red folder. Tower 4 sends regards. 3 more names in that file, 3 more people involved in what happened to your team. We've been building cases for years. Now with your testimony and evidence, we can close the loop. Riven opens the folder. 3 names. 3 photographs of men in uniform. High ranks, positions of authority. How deep does this go? Deeper than anyone wants to admit, which is why we need someone who's already dead, someone who can operate outside normal chains of command. She closes the folder, looks back at the base, at the buildings where she spent 4 weeks being invisible, at the hell ladder where she broke a record that doesn't matter in the larger scheme of things, at the place where she finally found justice for her team. Give me 24 hours to settle affairs here. Then I'm in. Understood. We'll extract at 0600 tomorrow. He hands her a phone. Secure line. Call if the situation changes. He walks back to the Chinook. The ramp lifts. The helicopter rises, banks west, disappears into the setting sun. Hayes approaches one more time. That file, Tower 4, is there anything I should know? Nothing you're cleared for, sir, but I'll say this. What you saw today was the end of one investigation. It's also the beginning of another, larger one. And when it's done, a lot of people are going to have to answer very uncomfortable questions. I hate uncomfortable questions. Yes, sir. Most people do. That's how people like Mercer get away with murder for 11 years. Hayes considers this. Your Hell Ladder record. It's going to stand as the official base record. Everyone who runs this course from now on will see your name. Is that acceptable? Riven looks at the digital board still displaying her time, 1 minute 11 seconds. Sir, I didn't come here for a record. I came here for justice. But if my name on that board reminds people that capability isn't limited by gender or by program classification, then yes, that's acceptable. Then it's official. Senior Chief Riven Lockhart holds the Coronado Hell Ladder record. Hayes offers a tired smile. Something tells me it's going to stand for a very long time. With respect, sir, I hope someone breaks it. Records are meant to be challenged. Complacency is how institutions die. She walks toward the waterfront. The ocean is dark now, waves catching the last light. Somewhere out there, her team rests. 2 women who gave everything for a program that was supposed to change naval warfare. But today, their story became public. Today, people learned their names. Today, their sacrifice was acknowledged. Not through ceremony or speeches or medals, through justice, through truth, through one survivor who refused to let them be forgotten. Riven's phone vibrates. Text from the secure line. 3 targets identified. Resources allocated. Mission brief at 0630 tomorrow. Designation, Operation Raven's Return. She reads the message twice, then deletes it. 3 more names. 3 more people who thought they could bury the truth under classifications and official silence. The night settles over Coronado. Security patrols make their rounds. The base enters its nocturnal rhythm. And on the waterfront, a woman who is officially dead stands watching the ocean, planning her next move in a war that started 11 years ago and is only now entering its final phase. On the digital board, visible to anyone who passes, 5 words glow in the California night. Record holder, Lockhart, Riven, 111. Below that, someone has already added a quote, unauthorized, probably one of the SEALs who witnessed the day's events, but Hayes will let it stand. Justice isn't loud, it's patient. And somewhere in the administrative building in a locked evidence room, a recording plays on repeat for federal investigators, Mercer's voice. Young and arrogant and certain he'll never be caught. Make it clean, no survivors. Except there was a survivor, and she just proved that the dead can still speak. They just need someone alive to carry their voice.
Every soldier carry a story that few ever hear. Listen with your heart. Thank you for staying and watching. Subscribe to MVB Story for more.